Women Who Kill: The Murder of Margaret Fleming. Avril Jones was trusted. She was a carer, a guardian, someone whose life was woven into the welfare of a vulnerable young woman. Margaret Fleming was a gentle soul with learning difficulties, who after her father's death in 1995 went to live with the very people chosen by him, Edward Kearney and Avril Jones, in Inverkip, Inverclyde. The couple became her full-time caregivers, but they controlled her life, housing her in a decaying bungalow known as Seacroft, managing her disability benefits, weaving themselves into every aspect of her existence. Margaret was last seen on the 17th of December 1999 at her uncle's home, accompanied by Kearney and Jones. After that, she simply vanished. Step by step, inch by inch, her presence evaporated. Avril Jones claimed Margaret went off with travellers. Kearney said she was heading abroad, living under a false identity. Their stories shifted, fractured and faded with time, but the money kept coming. Years' worth of disability payments funneled through Kearney and Jones's account, without anyone checking up on Margaret. Routine social work checks only began in 2016, almost 17 years after Margaret was last seen. Nobody had seen her in all that time. Neither DWP nor social services could find her. The alarm was finally raised, and police were sent to Seacroft, only to discover the house that still received benefits in Margaret's name was a tomb of unanswered questions. It took another year before Kearney and Jones were arrested. They sat for TV interviews, claiming Margaret was alive, still draping their lies in elaborate fantasies, that she was living in Poland, working as a gangmaster, hiding from authorities. They spoke with confidence and defiance, as though they owned the narrative, but in April 2019, a 7-week trial at Glasgow High Court laid bare the truth. Margaret had died sometime between the 18th of December 1999 and the 5th of January 2000. Jurors convicted 77-year-old Kearney and 59-year-old Avril Jones of murder and perverting the course of justice. Jones was also found guilty of fraud, having pocketed around £182,000 in disability benefits taken in Margaret's name. The prosecution painted a chilling picture: a lonely, frightened young woman held captive in her home for more than a year, manipulated and abused by the very people who were meant to take care of her. Lord Matthews sentenced them to life behind bars with a minimum of 14 years before parole. He told them they had caused immense grief, noting they alone knew what happened and where Margaret's remains were. The couple did not cooperate with police after conviction. Kearney died in HMP Edinburgh on the 15th of October 2023, aged 82, carrying the secret of Margaret's final resting place to his grave. Jones remains imprisoned, facing financial demands to repay the stolen benefits, a confiscation order having reclaimed a mere £3,473, with the rest to follow. Margaret's body has never been recovered. The site where Seacroft once stood, now demolished, and planning permission granted for 2 homes to be built on the site. It remains impossible to know exactly how Margaret died. Jurors accepted she was killed by unknown means. Perhaps she succumbed to violence, perhaps to neglect. Perhaps Jones and Kearney's abuse killed her slowly. Margaret Fleming's life ended in quiet isolation, in a house she rarely, if ever, left. In her final months, she was unseen by neighbours, unspoken of by anyone beyond the walls of Seacroft. She was a vulnerable young woman, familiar with hardship, slipping further from view. Though her death went unnoticed for years, the case that followed made legal history in Scotland. A murder conviction without a body. A years-long deception unravelled through persistent police work and forensic financial investigation. It was a case that exposed more than just a crime. It revealed cracks in the very systems designed to protect. Born on the 1st of November 1980, Margaret would be in her mid-40s today. Her life, and what it could have been, remains largely unknown. She was a daughter, a former pupil, someone who slipped out of public memory until it was too late. The circumstances of her disappearance now serve as a quiet warning that trust alone is not enough, that those tasked with care must be seen and their responsibilities verified.